Bear down, Chicago Bears. Justin Fields unfollowed the Chicago Bears on Instagram. Oh my gosh, what is absolutely going on? I have no idea. Has he quit? Did he leave? I'm just kidding with you guys. So, in fact, it is entirely possible at this point because nobody can confirm at any point that Justin Fields was actually following the Chicago Bears on um, on Instagram to begin with. Now, there's a bunch of people who can kind of run out here and say, "Well, I think so. I think he was. I kind of feel like he was, but I've almost certain I've seen it at one time or another." And blah 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 blah. Let me show you Justin Fields' profile right now, and then you tell me what it is that you see, and we'll take a very quick look. And we're going to do this very quickly because we want to move on. There's a whole bunch going on. It's Justin Fields related. And guys, if you like this content, please hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. Push me up in this algorithm. YouTube is a beast when it comes to it. So, and we're still wishing Mongo McMichael well. But so let's take a quick look here. And I mean, guys, the first thing that sticks out to me is where is this guy? Justin Fields is a Chicago Bear. Like it's literally saying it right here. Now, in the event that he was not part of the Chicago Bears, that he was moving on, it would not still say Chicago Bears. A man who does not want to be associated or is removing something in some way from his Instagram, it does not go to his profile and say, oh, by the way, all I'm going to do is not follow this one organization. After that, what I'm going to do is leave Chicago Bears up here as my current employer. Um, and in fact, it's then I started to think, well, maybe, just maybe he unfollowed them. But again, nobody can prove. And then you know what I don't see until you get way back here? You see practice. You see this does not look like somebody's personal, if you will, Instagram. So the first thing I do is I check this out. It says Justin Fields and Reebok. So this is an ad. Then I go look at this and I'm like, hey, what is this? And this is Justin Fields wearing a Pepperoni jersey in a paid partnership with Pepperoni. Then you have Justin Fields right here saying grateful. And how long ago was this? This was like 7 weeks ago. And the first person to reply, Tyson Bagent. So it seems like it's an outfit. And then we've got Essential Water. So here's what I think. I think this is much ado about nothing. That in fact, Justin Fields, as a matter of fact, but I think if you think it's important for you. I mean, if it's important to you, it's important to you, and it's okay. You're entitled to your feelings, even if you cry like a baby, a Caleb Williams, if you will. You're still entitled to your feelings. Your feelings are valid. They're real. Horseman up. So really, Justin Fields is just using his Instagram for ads, or at least that's what it seems like to me. Because if I go further and I say, well, that's just the last 3 or 4 of them, well, then let's go to this one right here. Oh, this one's sponsored by Essential Water. Oh, wait a minute, this one's sponsored by Reebok. Well, there's got to be some personal stuff here, right? Never take it for granted. Year 3 on the way. So his last post, his last post before that, before the ads, was 6 months ago. So I don't think Justin Fields really cares about social media. I think that, maybe he looks around, but I think there's not something, it's not something that's a real big deal, if you will, but people are making it a big deal because if you go into the people that he's following over here, then you can type in, I think you type in Chicago. You type in Chicago and you don't see Chicago Bears. So that's where that's where it came into play. No hashtags, no following, but he is following Matt Forte So maybe he's joining the Matt Fortes, or well, he's following the Cole Komets. So maybe he's going to join the Cole Komets or the Cairo Santoses. I don't know where they play. I'm not part of I'm not part of the league, if you will. The Tyson Bajans, I'm not sure where they're playing either. But I mean, guys, it's a weird sort of thing. Now, I understand why people are concerned, because the cult of Caleb wants everybody to be mad at Justin Fields. Because yesterday we did, by the way, and you got slayed like a bunch of donkeys, right? I put out, who would you like to choose with your first overall draft pick? And 19% of the watchers, and we had about 200 watchers at the time, 19% said Caleb Williams. 81, an overwhelming majority of people, by the way, said that they would like Marvin Harrison Jr., which of course becomes the complement to Justin Fields. So, you get mad and you're like, well, I don't like that. And you talk like that in my voice. So, but then let's take it a step further, right? So then we go to, well, this is social media. And if he's not following, surely he cleaned up all of his social media, right? Not so fast, Mo Frere. Not so fast. Because then we come over here and we see NFL rumors, and the NFL rumor says Chicago Bears are expected to make a choice on whether to keep or trade Justin Fields next week. Fields today removed the Bears from his social media accounts. Did he really? Well, because Justin Fields on Twitter is the quarterback for the Chicago Bears. So if Justin Fields removed the Chicago Bears from his social media, then it would stand to reason that he would not be following the Chicago Bears here either. So we come down here and we see the Chicago Bears are clearly not here. Like, there are no Chicago Bears. There's, oh shit, what is this? The Chicago Bears? What is happening here? Why would a guy who's not following the Chicago Bears be following the Chicago Bears? This is why nobody respects you. This is why nobody respects you. This is why. Here's the thing. This is not a thing. This is the thing, that it's not a thing. But you know what got even better? As you kind of made your way through this ecosystem, you start looking at it and you see, yeah, but he's following these Atlanta Falcons, so maybe he's being traded to the Atlanta Falcons. Like, that's just kind of, it's kind of ridiculous. Um, so now the question becomes, so what do we do with this information, right? Well, now I want to take a moment here, and we want to look at a couple of things, right? There are a few things that really kind of matter here, that that we should at least consider, okay? And I'm gonna just kind of throw the there's one piece out here that I did want to throw at you. If I didn't screw it up, I might have even screwed it up, by the way. Haha. Let me see here. First up, let's do this. Ryan Poles is staying open-minded about the number one pick. Now, this is off of remember, there was a conversation to be had on January 10th, where Ryan Poles sat down with Matt Eberflus, and they had a very, very long conversation. And in this very long conversation, entering a second straight offseason with the number one selection in the draft, Poles expressed a similar sentiment Wednesday at Hallis Hall. Now, what happened in that last one? He passed. Now, by the way, he didn't pass on CJ Stroud. He passed on Bryce Young, who was considered to be the consensus number one guy, and that he didn't work out. Now, CJ Stroud did, but Bryce Young was considered the consensus number one pick. Now, he says, I've got to stay open-minded about it. Let me pull this up for you. He said, I've got to stay open-minded about it, not to use the same quote, but when I say I need to be blown away, it's the same setup, because seeing the things that Justin did this year, and let me run this back for the cult of Caleb one more time, because I want to make sure that let me clear my throat. I've got to stay open-minded about it, not to use the same quote, but when I say I need to be blown away, it's the same setup, because seeing the things that Justin did this year, his ability to make plays, keeping his eyes downfield, taking less sacks, you see a lot of growth there where he can continue to get better. So I'll have the same mindset. So then he says that the Bears are in information gathering mode right now. We're going to turn every stone to make sure that what we are doing is going to make a sound decision for our organization. I did think Justin got better. I think he can lead this team. But at the same time, there is a unique situation. I have to look at our staff and it has to look at everything. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And that is a very fair assessment. It does not say we are going with Caleb Williams. It does not say we are going with Justin Fields. He didn't tip his hat in one direction or the other, allowing for him to respectfully say, look, I like Justin Fields. Look, I like Justin Fields. I like everything he did. I saw the improvement. Everything looked the way that I would like it to look. He was feeling pretty good about it, but he left the opportunity that, hey, this may not work out. So making 13 starts in 2023, he threw for 2,562 yards with 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and an 86.3 passer rating. Stop right there. Now, let's be honest about that 86.3 passer rating. That's a 112 rating in the first quarter in scripted plays. That's a 96 rating in the second quarter, an 89 in the third, and a 53 in the fourth quarter. So you should be concerned. I do want to stress this over and over and over again. I blame Luke Getsy in many ways for at least some of the play calling in the second half. Luke Getsy, I think he was really kind of a conservative game manager, and I don't think that he was giving Justin the opportunity to be dynamic in that Justin had the opportunity to be dynamic. I think the product of not having enough depth at defense and the defense giving up an alarming amount of points in the second half, in some of these games, created a situation in which this team was not capable of coming back. And I don't think Luke Getsy was calling good plays to get us there. And they were predictable. I should say that, maybe predictable plays where, look, let's rush 7 because we know that he's going to play some kind of ridiculous. He's going to make every wide receiver run way downfield. All we need is 3 seconds and we can get to this quarterback, right? So I think that there were some bad play calls and that probably affected Justin Fields. And then Justin Fields is responsible for all of the rest, because if you're a coach and you call the play, your expectation is the players complete that play. If they do not, then that is on the player. So Justin Fields is accountable for what happened in the fourth quarter. However, if we're doing that and we're saying, well, he can't handle the pressure, then we go back and we look at his the pressure plays. The pressure plays are third down and long, third down and short, and we look at his quarterback rating there, and his quarterback rating there is just fine. It's in the end of games where we really have that. So with the pressure on, when the stress is on, he seems to respond okay. There was something just about that fourth quarter. Now, by the way, that did mean that he had 10 fumbles in 2023. Caleb Williams, by the way, had 8 fumbles in the same period of time. Now, that I think kind of offsets itself. I think that offsets itself in my opinion. However, we should at least acknowledge, I think Caleb Williams was a more accurate passer. And we should be honest about that. And I watched a lot of Justin Fields videos of him hitting some ridiculous plays because the Chicago Bears put out a highlight reel of DJ Moore, and all you saw was the good plays. You didn't see the bad plays. You didn't see the missed throws. All you saw was the perfect execution. So that doesn't always exist. Like, we don't live in a vacuum. So, we can still be critical and still like Justin Fields, just so everybody understands that, right? But to continue on here, we love where Justin is right now, said Coach Maddie Eberflus. And it should be noted, and I do want to, guys, I keep getting sidetracked here because one more thing here. We love where Justin is right now, and they replaced all the coaches, right, on the offensive staff. In replacing all of those people, what is the one thing that kept coming out in the interview process was that the expectation would be Justin Fields, and that Matt Eberflus was adamant that you should know what you're going to do with Justin Fields before they make a selection on who that guy is going to be. So, specifically, that did come up repeatedly by multiple sources. So consider that. Just consider it. He's done a good job growing in the interceptions, keeping those down. The sack totals, he's doing a good job with that. Having his eyes down the field, he's done a wonderful job with that, of being able to deliver some strikes down there, and he'll continue to grow as we grow as a football team. This is what the idea right here that Matt Eberflus, who doesn't ultimately make that decision, this is a Ryan Poles decision. Matt Eberflus uses whatever the tools are presented to him by Ryan Poles. So he doesn't make that decision, but he assumes that Justin Fields is going to be here. The one area where Poles would like to see improvement from Fields is in operating the 2-minute drill. And this comes to the crux of the problem of that 53.4 quarterback rating in the fourth quarter. So you have to be, and they are critical of that. Can he improve? And is that a part of Luke Getsy's offense not fitting Justin Fields? That's a critical part, and we've got to continue to get better at, because that's where you win games and close games. And a lot of times when you look at the playoffs and the championships, that's where you close it out. That's one big part. If Field remains with the Bears, he'll be working with his third offensive coordinator in 4th season. But Eberflus is not concerned. Justin's very smart, very intelligent. He's able to adapt and adjust. So I don't see that being a problem at all. Poles was asked if he'll allow the unwavering belief that the Bears teammates have in Justin Fields influence the GM decision. I have to separate it a little bit, but I absolutely love it. I mean, when you talk about building a team, I want that type of support in the locker room. I want those guys, when they go take the field, I want them to believe in the player, and that they have at their quarterback position, I want them to believe in the person to the right and to the left. So I absolutely love that. With any decision, I've got to take emotion out of it and look at the whole deal here. The person, that's the biggest part. I've got a lot of confidence in our ability to see talent on the field. The human being, you've got to figure out, especially to be a quarterback in this city, you've got to have it right. You've got to have toughness to you. You've got to have mental toughness. You've got to be able to block things out. Last year, Poles traded the number 1 pick to the Panthers, picked up DJ Moore, and said, again, I'm wide open to anything. If somebody calls me with an idea, that's fine. I'm open to it. So what you're seeing is a willingness to do whatever to make this team better. So, and that's what you want to see. So, YouTube says, I do believe Fields unfollowed them. I don't believe it's a coincidence. Being overly attached to any outcome isn't wise. So, YouTube, then I would ask you this question just to sort this out. When did he follow them, and when did he unfollow them? I mean, that would be the question, because that seems to be a case where nobody can answer it. And I've asked multiple people. Like, this has been something that's been propped up since I want to say about 8 p.m. last night, when people started going on about it, right? And the question was, when did he unfollow them? When has he ever followed them? And I believe there's a guy, looks like a he actually looks like a living bear. I think his name is Harrison Graham. And he said, because I saw him on Twitter, and he's got this little, he's like, you know what I mean? Like, he's doing the short video thing, and he's like, Justin Fields, like, has he ever even followed? Like, nobody even knows, and I can't get an answer. So I started looking around too, and there's no way to really kind of tell if if he ever even followed. And I mean, you can go to Instagram. And by the way, if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram at Bleeves Crypto. And that would be super, super awesome, sweet. It's at Bleeves Crypto. But if you look up, who are we looking at here? Justin Fields. We went to Chicago Bears over here. The hard part about this is you can't just like roll through here and find, because you got 77,000 likes, and I don't think you can search. Like, we got a thank you here, and we've got 77,000 likes. We got liked. You can click on the number of likes over here, but you can't search by the number of likes. So you can't find whether or not it was just, it's just too much. It's a voluminous task. So there's no real way to see if he's even liking the posts. But here's the thing. Since we're following, then we can see like maybe he is or isn't following. So like Maddie, you can see that Maddie was following for sure. And then as you go down here and you start to like pick a few of these, boxing and muscles for sure. And I'm following Justin Fields. So if it comes up, then boxing and muscles, people that I know, but Justin Fields, there we go. So the last time Justin Fields liked a post from them, looks like right here 1 week ago. So Justin Fields does in some way, we could at least consider that right here, Justin Fields was liking a post from the Chicago Bears. Now, was it because of 27? I don't know who this is, by the way. I 27 Savage. God damn it! Now I got to figure out who this person is. Justin Jones. Okay, so now I got to follow him. I don't know all the players. Like I don't follow everybody's social media. But you can see right there. Now this, by the way, in my brain, and it goes down like Jesus Christ. How far back does this go? Mongo. Okay, so we got boxing and muscles. Popping in here. He didn't like that one, but he did. He did. Justin Fields did take the moment right here, and that's the only person that I'm following. That's the only so far the only one that I've seen him like this at this point. And I don't know anybody who liked that one. The Jalen Cam. Let's see. Nope. Maddie likes all of these. Jesus Christ! Like she is following. She is really following. By the way, I think we're gonna have a stream tonight. So, and Justin Jones. Okay, so off of this, we do have one. We do have one. So he's obviously aware of what they're doing. So Zach Fowler. Nope. Is there a picture of Justin out here? Here we go. Let's try this one. Justin Fields doesn't even like his own pictures of the Chicago Bears. So I do have that he did like one of these pictures. So we do have that. And I wonder. Here we go. Here's another picture of Justin doing his thing, and he didn't even like his own video. So, you know, I mean, I don't think so. Like, I'm spending a lot of time on this to try to get some clarity, but I don't think so. Like, I don't think it's really is a thing. I think it is a thing in that if you're a Chicago Bears fan and you want it to be a thing, that it is. I do think that this is a, this is a thing if you want it to be a thing. So if it's your thing, do what you want to do. Oh, God damn it. I kill myself. All right. So let's move on from that. And I don't know what to say otherwise. Like, I really think that I think this is a big nothing at this point. I don't think this is, I don't think this is the thing that people were hoping and praying for it to be, because I just don't think it's, I don't think that it's a gigantic, thing, basically. So, I mean, if you do, I mean, that's on you, boo boo. But let's get into some draft stuff, and let's get into. There's really no free agency, no news or anything like that. But I did have somebody who sent me in, and let's go pull this up right now. Now, I got one email here. I'm going to share it with you. This is Dill Maurice, basically telling all of us that we're idiots and that he's the right guy. However, he put my list in about 4 comment messages, on your subject about the line in your about subject line episode. I don't know. So, um, this was regarding Wonstad agrees. I don't know what, what? God damn it. Now I know exactly what he's talking about. I didn't know, by the way. I was looking at, but anyway, while I go look at that, I'm gonna pop over here and look at that. While I do that, here's the email. It says, I love your show, man, but I honestly think you and many other subscribers are not very on target as it relates to most NFL draft prospects that our Bears must target if they actually want to be correct. And it is important to say that we would like the Bears, if they're going to make this move, if they're going to make this play, be correct. Like, let's win. Let's go see right here. I'm gonna pop this up, and we're gonna see put it in the comment section. And if that is the case, yes, there we go. All right, so I do have it. So we're gonna pop this up right now. And so we didn't get exactly, but here, believes who should be the Bears in the draft for the offensive line help? Well, if they want to be correct, they must target Talise Fuaga, which is Oregon State, and that in fact would be a good one. And then you've got J.C. Latham at right guard, Troy Fatanu left tackle, Graham Barton left guard, Duke University. And in fact, what he did was he went out and he got this to me looks like some real finesse, some big finesse guys. Talise Fuaga, I believe, is going to be a first round pick. However, the only issue that I would say, and I think that we're probably on the same page here. J.C. Latham at right guard from Alabama. Well, Nate Davis has done an admirable job so far, so I'm not sure that I don't. I would not say don't. I'm not going to have a problem with that if somebody does make this move. But let's pop this up. Yeah, so we're talking about his picks were Talise Fuaga from Oregon State, J.C. Latham from Alabama at right guard, Fatanu from the University of Washington at left tackle, and Graham Barton left guard at Duke University. So in order that we're talking about some guys who would in fact really I think subs at left tackle. Talise Fuaga, maybe you bring him in, you dump Larry Borum. I still want to say you dump Larry Borum no matter what you do. But the only real replacement in this context for me so far would be Braxton Jones. Is there some possibility here that these guys become replacements? So we're not looking at right tackle. We do know that Darnell Wright represents our future. He did a fantastic job. Should have been in the running for Rookie of the Year. So I think we agree with that one. But then after that, Tevin Jenkins at left guard did I think an admirable job until that final game. Until you really kind of fell apart in the final game. But I don't have a problem with any one of these selections. This is a lot of heavy lifting in that period of time. But I did want to recognize that was Dill Maurice, by the way, who did this. And he says, "Trust me, bro, I'm correct." And if the guy says, and by the way, when you say "Trust me, bro, I'm correct," let me show you my crypto channel, because I also do a crypto channel, about 32,000 subscribers, and my motto on my channel is I'm always right. The most always right person on the entire internet. So I appreciate that more than you can even possibly know, because I think that is absolutely awesome. Because I do the same thing. So shout out to Dill Maurice. Now we've got another person who sent in, and this is Rice Reed. And he came in with a mock draft, and here is his selection here. He started off, looks like he drafted down, went to the number 3 spot. And in that number 3 spot, he picked up Marvin Harrison Jr. And then safety out of Iowa at the 19 pick, Cooper DeJean. Looks like he made a lot of trades and traded down and picked up a total of 11 players, and then 2 picks off of New England in 25. That looks like he traded the number 1 down to the number 3. That seems to be what the generator does each and every time. And then at number 34, again, the 34 seems to be the magic move right there. He got Jackson Powers Johnson. And then Adisa Isaac, the edge rusher out of Penn State. Roman Wilson, wide receiver out of Michigan. Kieran, I'm not even going to try to say that name. Emagaji, I'm going to hope I got it right. Offensive tackle out of Yale, looking to replace Braxton Jones, I think, at that point. Cade Stover, tight end out of Ohio State. I think that was on one of my drafts yesterday as well. Marshawn Lloyd, who we've gone to him multiple times, a running back out of USC. And then we've got Zach Zenter, offensive guard out of Michigan. And we've got Luke McCaffrey. I still think, I think Luke McCaffrey just gives us the opportunity and the inroad to a Christian McCaffrey, so that the brothers can play together at some point. And it's more likely that if we had Luke McCaffrey, that he would come here, then Luke McCaffrey would go there, because we've got him locked in for at least 5 years if he plays out and comes out well. Then we've got Eric All, tight end at Iowa. Positions the I don't think that's I think we've got a lot of skill positions out here, and I think we've filled up a lot of skill positions. But I don't know. We still need a lot of backups. By the way, we need a defensive tackle. But I like this overall. This is a very very fast team right here that we just picked out. Cooper DeJean, I think that's actually a pretty good selection, by the way, because we really need somebody to replace Eddie Jackson. And I don't know, and we're doing this blind, of course, without the benefit of free agencies. So, we'll see. Now we're going to close that out, and then we're going to do mine. And here was mine for the day. I went with, and by the way, I ended up doing the same thing and ended up getting 12 picks. As you can see, all I did was keep trading my way down this draft. I did not, I went down at number 3 and got Marvin Harrison Jr. And actually in this one, I traded I traded the number 1 for the number 2, and then I traded the number 2 for the number 3, and it actually played out almost perfectly. But Drake May went number 1, and then Caleb Williams went number 2, and which didn't make a whole lot of sense because why are you getting Cliff Kingsbury if that's what you're doing? But so I got Marvin Harrison Jr. Then I got Brock Bowers by trading down at the 11. I traded the 9 for the 11. Then I got the number 34 selection off of the from the Patriots again, and I used that for Cameron Kinchin's safety. And then I went for Jerzon Newton. Now that's the biggest. I think that's the biggest defensive tackle in the draft anyway, and he's one of the higher ranking ones as defensive tackles go. So I took him at number 36. And then I took a center at number 40, Zach Frazier out of West Virginia. He was rated out as the second best center in it. Then I took Trey Benson, running back out of Florida State. Now I've got my backup. Deonta Foreman moves on. Jalen Polk, I now have a backup wide receiver. Then I took an edge rusher, Brandon Dorlus at Oregon. I'm not sure I solved the problem of an edge rusher with Brandon Dorlus from Oregon at the 68 pick, but I brought in somebody who can maybe spell and relief, assuming DeMarcus Walker might be one of the guys that's going to stick with us. So, and then I grabbed Kalen Bullock. Kalen Bullock was a backup safety, which I felt that we're probably going to end up needing as well. Trevin Wallace, a backup linebacker. Mekhi Wingo at defensive tackle, a big guy from out of LSU. So I brought in 2 defensive tackles. And unlike Dill, I brought in only 1 offensive lineman. So or two, but I brought in number 142. I think this was like the 4th round, Isaiah Adams. And then I got a 2025 Washington first round pick and a 2025 New England second round pick. And it was because I had traded down that number 1 New England pick, which generally comes up when you're trading down with them. So yeah, we'll see how that works out and how that plays out. So that's what I did. I took Marvin Harrison Jr., Brock Bowers, Cameron Kinchins, Jerzon Newton, Zach Frazier, Trey Benson, Jalen Polk, Brandon Dorlus, Kalen Bullock, Trevin Wallace, Mekhi Wingo, and Isaiah Adams. As you can see right here, I didn't go as beefy as you might have gone. And remember, one of the things when Dill did his, like he did, what do you call it? He went for the lines. Like he really wanted it and felt it was important to fix the lines. I kind of agree that I kind of disagree. And I think that a lot of the line is fixed, if you will, in that I think we've already done a pretty decent job when you consider Tevin Jenkins and Darnell Wright. And then Nate Davis has been very good as well. So, and they've all graded out, by the way, very, very well. And Braxton Jones has been your question mark. And of course, Lucas Patrick and Dan Feeney. And I don't know that bringing in Zach Frazier fixes that, but I also know that we also have free agency and a draft. So we're bringing in young players who can fill in roster spots and make improvements. And, maybe we'll do something and we'll see. Joe Hollywood says, your mock draft sucks. We can easily get Marvin Harrison Jr. and Drake May and multiple picks. Yeah, but I don't like Drake May. I'm not looking for Drake May. I'm not looking to replace Justin Fields to begin with. That's the crux of this one. Yesterday, I chose Caleb Williams first overall and ended up getting 6 picks, and I didn't really like that one nearly as much. It's fair if you don't like Justin Fields. It's fair if you don't like him, but I do. And Ryan Poles does, and Matt Eberflus does. And I think that's what matters more than me liking him. Because if Drake May were, look, if we go to the scouting combine, which starts, I think, in 6 days, in the scouting combine, things might change drastically. Caleb Williams could come in there, and he might even be in high heels so that he looks like a grown boy. You know what I mean? Like kind of small for a quarterback. But if you put him in some heels, then he'll probably be bigger. And Drake May, 6'4". So you're probably right. Also, by the way, JJ McCarthy is going to be out there. I'm actually curious to see how JJ McCarthy plays his way. Does he play his way into the earlier part of the first round? Does he look like a can't miss project, if you will? Or does Caleb Williams, does he just become the guy? I mean, do Do you get a confirmation bias, if you will, that Caleb is your man from that point on? Or does Drake May step in and really start to show what he can do? And do we get like just wowed by him? And then if that's the case, what about the Heisman Trophy winner? Because when you hear somebody talking about Caleb Williams, when you get these guys out here and they're talking about Caleb Williams, they're like, I mean, Caleb Williams won the Heisman Trophy. Caleb, quit fucking crying. Would you please stop crying? Don't paint your fingernails. Jesus Christ, there's grown men in the room. Why are you painting your fingernails? What the fuck is going on, man? Man, anyway, you're number one. You're the best. We love you, man. You're good. You're awesome. You know what I mean? Like that's. I just assume that that's how they do it. But anyway, what happens if what happens if Drake May, like you're like, we won the Heisman? Well, so did Jaden Daniels. So what if Jaden Daniels is a better option because he won the most recent Heisman? And then you'll be like, well, no, you don't see the product on the field. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We see a 7-5 USC team. They didn't even make a playoff and couldn't beat a ranked team. You know what I'm saying? Like there's hey, oh God, I love messing with the cult. I love messing with the cult of Caleb. I swear to God. And here's the funny thing: I'm going to be his biggest supporter if he gets drafted, which makes me a hypocrite. But that's okay. It's my show. I can be the hypocrite of the show. You know what I mean? Um, but I think that Jaden Daniels could end up being a lot better than we realize. And JJ McCarthy. What if JJ McCarthy is it just comes in and does the knockout? Unlike Caleb Williams, he actually won a national title. Unlike Caleb Williams, he's actually a champion. You know what I mean? Unlike Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels is actually a Heisman Trophy winner in this last year, right? Caleb Williams, and by the way, I'm making fun of you guys who are Caleb Maxis at this point because, to be fair, Caleb Williams was better, I think, in my opinion, this year than he was in his Heisman season, but he didn't have a better team. So because it's still a team game, it really is. I think that Caleb Williams did his very best and balled out the entire year, and not the BAWL because he cried. Not that part. I think that he balled out the entire year. And look, I'm gonna be happy if Caleb Williams is the first overall draft pick. I'm not going to be mad. I just say that because I like to pretend because it drives people nuts. And for some reason, that gives me great joy. I don't know why. I guess doctor's going to look into that one when I get a psych evaluation. But for some reason, it gives me great joy to see you guys be like, what the fuck is he telling? Can't believe this guy's doing this. You know what I mean? Like for some reason, I find joy in that. So probably broken on the inside. But here's the thing. If Justin Fields is the quarterback, I'm happy. If Caleb Williams is a quarterback, I'm happy. If Marvin Harris is on the team, I'm super happy because I feel like he's the best guy in the draft, and that no matter what, we should find a way to get Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, if that means that we draft up and we give up some draft picks in order to make that happen, and then we start trading down and trying to stockpile and load for some other time, or we find some creative way to again, the easiest way to build is through the draft, right? And so you have a lot of picks, and we've given up some picks. We only have 6 selections, by the way, in this upcoming draft in 7 rounds, and no second round picks. So if I'm thinking clearly and I'm Ryan Poles, I want to do a little bit of drafting, or I want to do a little bit of trading down in order to pick up more picks because I want more players on the team. And look, if I have to make a decision, and look, this is one of the things that it really comes down to that I don't think people are in the event, and I'm not saying that it will happen, but in the event that they do decide that Justin Fields is that guy, maybe you don't like it, but I don't care. They are the ones that make that decision. If they decide that Caleb Williams or Justin Fields is that guy, they're gonna have to pay Justin Fields $25 million next year. They're gonna have to pay him $40 million the year after that, 35 million, 45 million, somewhere, in that neighborhood. It's gonna be expensive to keep Justin Fields around. And in the event that that is the case, then it is imperative to have as many draft picks to continue your team as possible, because next season's team is now a playoff team. And I say that based on a 5-3 record to end this season. They finally kind of put together what they needed to put together. This is a very young team that's only getting more experienced and better. I think that they've upgraded the offensive staff. I think they've upgraded the defensive staff. I think they've upgraded everything around this team, not named Matt Eberflus. And I think that maybe just by proxy and by virtue of having a new staff, he's going to be a better all around um, coach, understanding that he's playing for his job. So, I think there's a tremendous upside. This is a very young team at this point that is going to play its way into a better role this year. So I think this is a playoff team. Now, do I think that we're going to blank Green Bay this year? I don't know. I don't think we even have to. I think that I don't think that the Vikings are going to be better. I think that we own Detroit at this point. We've got their number, if you will. Now, does that mean that we're going to win the games? I'd like to think that we would, but I don't know. So I think that the Chicago Bears actually are a team that could very well contend for the NFC North for sure. Uh, will they win the NFC North? I don't know. I mean, I think that still goes through Green Bay until we win against Green Bay. It goes through Green Bay at least. But I do think also that Detroit got a lot of luck going their way, and I don't think it's going to go their way again like it did. So I think the Bears are the come up team that has that they get the big shocker for this year for 2024. I mean, and then that makes them a playoff team at least. So and even by the way, even if they're not winning the division, I do think that they're still a team that, if they're 5-3 and they continue to produce the way that they are, then they're 10-7 or 11-6 at least, and that's a playoff contender. That's a team that's a playoff contender. Remember, the teams that were in the Super Bowl were 13-4 and 12-5, so you're not that far removed. They're not that far removed from actually being a very good team. So if that's the case, then what do you do with that? And I think again, you build just in case you're keeping Justin Fields, then you need a draft like what I just gave you here with a lot of bodies because you've got a lot of spots that you got to fill as inexpensively as you possibly can. So if that's the case, then you got Marvin Harrison Jr. coming in at $7 million. You got Brock Bowers coming in right here at about $5 million, maybe $4 million at the 11 spot, 5 million, somewhere around that range. Number 34, a little bit under $1 million. The rest of these guys are going to come onto this team for under $1 million a year, going all the way down here. Isaiah Adams, Mekhi Wingo. I mean, you're getting these guys for $400,000 or $500,000 a year, $600,000 a year. So you got a great team that cost you less than 25 million here. This 20 million really. Less than $20 million to fill this roster out. And then, I mean, that I think you've got the young team that can give you the chance to get to the Super Bowl. That can give you the chance in the playoffs, the young, hungry team. So, this right here is probably accurate here. The Bears are probably 2 years away from competing for the trophy if they trade the first overall for a haul. But here's the other part to that. Anything can happen when you get into the playoffs. So, um, are they 2 years away? Well, you've got a complicated situation starts to unfold, and that is if you want to do that and you trade away, then you have to pay $25 million for your quarterback next year, which now gives you a lot of constraints financially. So, I mean, we'll see how it all fits together. I'm certainly fascinated to see how the Chicago Bears come together and how they navigate this new season. You know what I mean? Um, Bears fans hate the Packers. Packers love the Chicago Bears when they play them. Yeah, absolutely, because it's been an easy win. I mean, like Jesus Christ, wins. I mean, Jay Cutler, last person that won. Oh, you know what? Trubisky won a game, right? I mean, the Green Bay Packers, they gotta love the Chicago Bears. And I'm from Louisville, by the way, so I have a lot of friends who, you usually root for your local team, but they root for the Kentucky Wildcats because the Kentucky Wildcats have won a lot, and where I'm from is like a basketball state, so a little bit weird to me. I'm not a fan of basketball. I'm not. I don't hate basketball. I don't like the way it's played nearly as much as I did when I was younger because I grew up watching Michael Jordan, and I don't think the game is the same. I mean, you're still putting the ball in the basket. I understand that, but it's kind of different game. It just feels like not worth watching anymore. Um, Lord Crimson says that's why you need a good team, not just a great player. It's a game of 11 on 11. Sean says you're 100% right. Joe Hollywood, that old ass dad joke, please. I don't know which one. Oh, yeah, I got you. Yes, competing for a Super Bowl. We need to win divisions. We need to make it to the playoffs. You don't just jump from non-contender to Super Bowl contender overnight. Yes, you do. As a matter of fact, the Philadelphia did it. Using the same kind of what I'm saying is that they're one of the same kind of trajectory that Philadelphia was on a few years ago, and that San Francisco was on a few years ago. So when Lord Crimson says we're 2 years away, well, yeah, that fits with the San Francisco kind of paradigm there. And I think that the Bears are in a turnaround, and that the first part of their season was they really should have had a better season last year. They were really a better team last year. Um, or they were a better team than they won. I mean, look, I'm going to go back to this because, God damn it, it drives me crazy. But you look at the Chicago Bears schedule. You look at what the Bears really overall did, and you can't help but feel like, man, how did we miss this? I mean, here's the schedule. Here's what it looked like, right? You had the Green Bay. You lost 38. You lost 38-20. And that game, consider we weren't going to win that. There was nothing we could do there. That's just a wash, right? But we should have beat Tampa Bay. Like this, we were a better team than this. Definitely we're going to lose to Kansas City. Denver, we should have beaten Denver. So we really should have been 2-2. Now, if you take that into context, we're now 9-8 team. We should have beaten Minnesota. Now we're 10-7 team. We should have beaten New Orleans. Now we're an 11-6 team. We definitely should have beaten Detroit. Now we're a 12-5 team. And we should have beaten Cleveland. And now we're a 13-4 team. With the guaranteed losses, we definitely lost to Green Bay both times. Kansas City once. And the LA Chargers just absolutely, and LA was not that great, right? But they annihilated us. So you can't really take that away. But I mean, look at that. We're that close to a 13-4 team. And guys, I'm not making shit up here. Like, we should have beaten Cleveland. We had the opportunity to beat Cleveland. We should have beaten Detroit. We had the opportunity to beat Detroit. We should have beaten New Orleans. We were leading New Orleans. We were leading Minnesota. Like, we had opportunities, and we were leading Denver. There were opportunities in each and every one of these games for those wins. These were very close games. And let me tell you something. The story of Justin Fields changes dramatically for every person involved if we win this Denver game. Let's say we won the Denver game and the Minnesota game and the Detroit game. Just say we won those right there. That's a 10-7 team. We're in the playoffs. You know who's not in the playoffs? Green Bay. Think about that. If we win those games, and you know what, really should have won this one, but let's not even put that on the list. But that would make us 11-6. But here's the thing: just winning those very, very, very close games that we really should have won, that we were leading, that turns this team into something where you're looking at it and now you're saying to yourself, oh shit, like this really actually is a pretty decent team. Like we were really close. We're in the playoffs. You never know what's going to happen in the playoffs. Imagine you win one game. You win one game in the playoffs, and then suddenly you're like, whoa, like we got a shot. So, don't tell me that the Bears are going to have to reset. Don't tell me that the Bears are far away. They're not far away. They're a couple of wins away from a playoff this year. So when Lord Crimson, when you say they're 2 years away, I agree. But that first year was this year. They were real close this year. And I feel like this is more like the Philadelphia thing, where Philadelphia just kind of put it all together at a good time and turned it into something more. And that's what ended up happening. So I think that the Bears are going to surprise a lot of people next year. And by the way, I'm going to say it from until I'm blue in the face, which will match all of my surroundings here. I'm going to say it until I'm blue in the face. Luke Getsy was the problem in a very big context, but not because he's not a good coach. Luke Getsy is going into Las Vegas, and it's a different scheme. It's a different quarterback. It's a different, I don't think that Luke Getsy was doing the best job that he could to manage what Justin Fields was good at. I think that he was trying to make Justin Fields good at the things that he was not good at, which you always want to do, but he was doing it during the season and didn't do enough of it in the preseason to really get Justin ready for um to get him ready for success, if you will. So Justin felt like, and I think that even, and I want to say it was probably one of these first 4 games, like in this Denver game. I feel like Justin Fields came out and just said, like, I was really kind of unsure what was going on. He might even said it in the second game, but like he came out and he wasn't really attacking Luke Getsy and saying that Luke was the problem, but he was saying like, there were situations here where I wasn't like I wasn't ready for whatever it was that we were doing. And I think that that is a discredit to Luke Getsy in how he was coaching Justin. Again, no harm to Justin Fields, but I don't think he gave him the best opportunity to win. And that being the case, I would feel bad for Justin Fields if he doesn't get a chance to run it back and prove the doubters wrong. And if he doesn't, oh well. I mean, we get our number 13 jerseys. Was it Tyson Page? Does Tyson Page have 13? He gets his ass kicked out. Whoever got the 13 jersey gets their ass kicked out, and Caleb Williams takes the 13 jersey. And then things look a little bit different. Getsy was getting experience real time with a quarterback known to need development. And Andy would never. And that's my thing. I think Getsy's a look. We should note Luke Getsy scripted all the plays, and Justin Fields had a 112 quarterback rating in the first quarter. Justin Fields advanced stats by quarter. I think that's what it is, and I think it's CBS. Yeah, CBS Sports here. By the way, let's take a quick look at this, just so you guys get an understanding of why I still remain hopeful that Justin Fields is that guy. Here we go. On first down, I'm looking at quarterback ratings. Okay, in the quarterback ratings, and here it is by game period. By the way, you see, just everybody understands, 112 rating in the first quarter when the plays are scripted and when Luke Getsy knew what was going on. 91, not 96. I said 96 before. It's 91 quarterback rating in the first and second quarter. If we get first and second quarter, Justin, for entire games, we're winning every one of those games that we were talking about. Again, that's your scripted area, or where you don't have to make massive adjustments. But it's right here and right here where teams have to make big adjustments at halftime to try to keep going and try to keep the team moving and try to keep winning, if you will. If that's the case, then we did just a bad job. We did a bad job of that. So, but anyway, 89.5 and 53.4. That's not a great. That's not great. So, but and really here, this. I mean, we really have to. This is where it matters the most. That's the problem right there. In all of the problems that you might see with Justin Fields, that's it. That's the big issue right there is how do you have a 53 quarterback rating and also last 2 minutes of a half, 24.8. Guys, I want you to just at least consider this. This is Justin Fields in the last 2 minutes of a half. He was 23 of 50 for a 46% completion rate, 1 touchdown, 6 interceptions, sacked 7 times, quarterback rating of 24.8. And I mean, guys, that's real. And then look at that rush and look at the rushing. The rushing goes all the way down to 1.4. Okay. Now, there are some people who are going to say that this has to have, the line has to be there, the scheme and the play call has to be there, and that's fair assessment. But there also has to be some fair assessment that Justin Fields does have some problems with that position. Now, is it because of the play calling? Is it because of the position he was put in? Or is it because of his inability to deal with pressure? That becomes the next question. Well, that gets kind of answered for me on your pressure play. So 85.8 on first down, 90.5 rating on second down, 83.7 on third down. So I don't think that the pressure is the problem, because third down is your pressure play to begin with. Now, it could be said here that he has more touchdowns, but he also has more interceptions here on third down. So there is that possibility. But look, first down 58.7, second down 67%, but then 59% in third down. So there are problems that kind of stick out that you have to clean up with Justin Fields. Like, there are pieces. Um, uh, uh, all right, what is CPOE? Which one of these am I looking at here? Oh, and by the way, this is the quarterback rating. This is the quarterback rating of Justin by game, just to give you guys kind of an idea here of what it looked like. If you take out same fourth quarters, Tyler Scott, Tyson, yes, it is. But here's the thing. Um, that's not all on if somebody else makes some catches, that's not all on him. But right here, Cleveland Browns 46.5 quarterback rating. Against big defenses, 58 against Kansas City Chiefs, right? Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 61. Green Bay Packers, 84. Like, he's not really playing bad against the Green Bay Packers. But no touchdowns. Like this, like you gotta score, right? You gotta score. So there are pieces here. But look against the Washington Commanders, 125. Atlanta Falcons, 99. Denver Broncos, 132. You should have won the games. You know what I mean? Like, if you win the games, then you don't have a problem. So anyway, I mean, there's plenty of things. Um, Caleb will hold the football like a baseball and with one hand and fumble like a pro. I mean, that's exactly what Justin feels like. Again, like, if I go back to, if you're looking for fumbles, you're going to get plenty of fumbles. You're not going to fix the Chicago Bears. You're not going to fix the Chicago Bears with Caleb Williams, if that's the move there, because he's going to fumble just as much as Caleb. But I think he might be a little more accurate. So again, whoever the guy is, I support that guy. Because I think that if we should be supporting our guys, and I think that's very important. So, all right, guys, that's going to be it for the day. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. Take the time to come check me out during the course of the day. If you would, I'm going to end this show right now, and if you could, it would sure be cool if you could leave a comment on the video. Make sure you hit the like on the way out, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.